kinda just want to get through it. So this should be the last save. Because there shouldn't be... Exotic herbology. Origami. Yeah, I did everything I needed here. And I didn't pick up the Agara no Hote-sama, so... So 1, I need to be a little bit more careful. 2, gonna be a little bit thorough when it comes to picking up more items, since I have to do the... Since I have to do the gauntlet. Because I want that achievement for beating everything with the action difficulty of Lost in Fog. Okay, that's actually... That alone is like... It's probably worth it. I think I essentially cleared everything out on my way here. So yeah. Gross. Because there is... Returning back. There's returning back. There's... the nightmare after that. Then the chapter after that, which is skippable, but I can't skip it. And then the actual ending. And I'm probably going to prattle on a little bit, just to see if I can find a couple of notes. Chunka. You also have a fox mask. The one big plus side, I'll say, is that most of these cutscenes should still be the same, which means I can skip them. But I'm curious to see if 2 certain segments change. Stamina. Just have to back away. That's bad. Should be safe here. The Katsu quest. Okay. Wow, that went really clean. I'm very curious about two things, because I think two things slightly change, not due to the difficulty, or even what new game I'm on, as much as the ending that I'm going after. So I have to see what those, because I got a little bit of a sneaking suspicion about it earlier, but now I want to see definitively. Because all the choices setting up for the ending are kind of locked in prior to going into the Shimizu estate. The only one breaking that pattern being the UFO ending, because you can activate that outside of that. You can activate it around chapter 5, which is way earlier. So, I will also make what I'll say is an addendum, at least to the bad ending that I got last time. Or what is referred to as the bad ending. Because the more that I thought about it, I still understand why it's called the bad ending. Or at least, it's categorized as such. I'll at least call it like either good fortune, good fortune or death. Good fortune or blackbird. Trying to figure out like a way of explaining this, because I can justify it in myself in my like head, but I can't put it to words cleanly just yet. But I don't need like an entire week to think about it. I'll take that. Because essentially what that ending was, or is Hinako essentially giving in and following what Junko said. The other version I myself talked for many nights now. Through these fervent discussions, I've come to the conclusion that Hinako needs to speak to her inner self just as I have. It's clear she's not currently in the right head. Why else would she ever even consider accepting that farce of a marriage that has been pushed upon her otherwise? There's no point in trying to force Hinako's opinion to change. She must make this realization for herself to stick. If she could just talk with her inner self within her dreams, I'm positive she could be led back to rationality. And then she would realize just who truly has her best interest in mind. So that is also from Shio. And the more that I've also thought about that, also, I think an important part of that that I might have slightly missed, was that ending is called, I'm probably better off just using these until it's full. The achievement for getting that note is called Good Intentions. The pills are not necessarily literal. This is... Well, no, the pills, in essence, are literal, but Hinako using them here is metaphorical. So she has been using the pills given to her by Shu at the start of this. Using them... It was too late. Using them in the game is just her... Essentially... No, it's her abusing it. Effectively going way, way, way too deep within her own mind. Which causes her just to have a psychological break. That's why all of the other endings involve her not using the pills. That's just a crowbar. Because all the other endings are her making an active choice. Either for this version of Hinako, or her inner... This version of her either dying, or her... Or this part of her winning out. Which would be Foxtail Wedding. One, I'm looking for more notes because I'm very curious about the axe murderer that's like in the woods. I don't think I'm gonna get anything here. So the pills aren't necessarily literal, but Shu did give her them. Shu did give them to her for her to go through this. I think the major confusion part came from the pills that she had prior to everything going on with the wedding. Those pills were made with those pills were made with peony and the like. These ones were made with Kakara Makakara. The ones that sent her into this spiral. Because all this is just a... This is her quite literally battling her demons. The entire game is metaphorical in a sense. Or at least internal. Extremely internal. None of what we are experiencing in the game is real in the slightest, but they are representative of... They're representative of reality. That's the pregnant one. I was wondering why I was making that sound. Actually, because now with that helps me figure out a couple things. My oldest sister, she is one of the prettiest and kindest people I know, and there is nothing she can't do. I can rely on her for anything. Honestly, she's the greatest sister anyone can ask for. She's always been there for me ever since the day I was born, until she left to go get married. She did go off to get married. She wasn't spirited away. That wasn't metaphorical. She is just gone. Junko always told me that the quickest way to happiness is to live the way society expects women to. Well, if there's a quick way to happiness, then there must be other ways too. One time when I was little, Junko showed me how to find my way out of a maze in a puzzle book. There's no doubt that she showed me the quickest solution. Still, what I felt that moment was nothing compared to the joy of figuring out for myself. That is metaphorical. I once went to see Junko in the hospital when she was pregnant. Her morning sickness was so bad that all she could manage between vomiting was groaning. Her hands were rough and chapped, and her face looked as though she had aged decades overnight. When I saw her like that, it was as if the sister that I had adored had disappeared. This is what marriage does to a woman. It makes you end up like Junko, like Mom. So, you can't ever listen to Junko. Flat out, you cannot listen to her in this. The maze is a metaphor. Junko is showing her essentially, quote unquote, the quickest way to happiness. And that fastest way is giving in and following society's expectations. And that clearly terrifies Hinako, because that's not who she is and how she wants to be. Same thing with Kimi. It's also not a really great way of going about life either. So between her mom, between her sister, and even between herself, those are multiple forms, multiple ways that she is being pressured to conform to societal expectations. Something's moving behind me, and it's not the face. I got really reckless. That's also why Foxmat. That's also... because that also feeds into something that really clued me about, about good fortune. About the good fortune ending, I'll say. Because especially in contrast to the bad ending, or, damn it, Foxtail Wedding, at least as far as I can tell, that's why he doesn't die. He doesn't die because Hinako's also helping him. Through that own defiance, through herself showing her own way out instead of following Junko's lead and following her mother's example, she's showing Foxmask that there is another way, that he doesn't need to follow specifically the things that he was told. Again, patriarchy is the prison. Neither women nor men are free under it. That's why the male enemies in the Dark Shrine have shackles, because they're just as bound. That's also why the sword needs to be purified for the true ending. Again, finding her own way out. Because she has to... Nari Sushi. Because she also has to find her own way out, that's precisely why... Hang on, can I use... No, no, this is fine. I'm trying to be smart about this so that I can still grab what I want. I want the Inari Sushi. It's better than the Arare, but Arare, like, has compounding interest. I don't need that many Higashi. Because getting the unpurified sword... The sword itself is not the problem. The problem is that it is still contaminated. That's why not having the sword or having the sword and having it purified are both the valid conditions for the Fox Wedding. Because it means that Hinako has to deal with things on her own, using her own strength, instead of relying on borrowed power. I hear you. That's why the... Damn it. That's why the bad ending's big conditional is also getting the... Agare no Hote-sama. Because even that... Oh my god. Hate you. Because even that Hinako isn't solving her problems on her own. Again, she's relying on borrowed power. Because that's why she still, like, loses the fight against this Hinako. This Hinako is still stronger than her. Even with everything that Foxmask gives her. Oh my god. Like, the other Hinako needs a get out of jail free card in order to win against this one. In order to win against Shimizu. Because she can't do anything on her own. Hi, Saidaku. Should still be... Hang on, where's my kutsu? I have one. I can still make this work. Making sure that I pick up... this repairs that, so I'll do that. That's also why the weapon durability exists. It is an example of her having to be resourceful on her own instead of relying on gifts. Like, no, I think everything in this game is all working on a... is all working on a metatextual level. Also, hi, Computer Geek. Would Fembro be inappropriate? It would be an inappropriate nickname. I'll say not a fan of that one. So now my big question about this scene is why was during the second playthrough Totsuya replaced with the fox? Or is that because of the bad ending? No, because the condition... Because I could still go back before going back to the Shimizu estate. This one's tied to New Game Plus, not the ending condition. Yeah, they overlap, that's why. You're fine. Wait, there's another radio here? Did I hear this one before? That one I don't understand. That one's gonna take a bit. There's a lot of the radio ones that I have not heard. Bad. Spam. This is still much better. Bad, 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 bad. I thought it was like the upcoming boss. I thought there was gonna be a window there. I also think the katana is like stronger to like counteract it. To counteract the fact that it is still... To counteract the fact that it still now has a... that it now has durability. I don't know why I kept saying still. How? How did you get back up? How did you get back up? This isn't worth fighting. How did he get back up? That is the only one that's done that. Oh my god. Now I'm like, I'm trying to think. Please. As long as he doesn't follow me. Now I'm like... now I'm thinking. I'm trying to figure out if there's still like a couple things that I'm not entirely 100% on just yet. Because that's gonna be extra. It's not like I'm really going to use the Yukon. I'm trying to remember if there's any, like, final... Trying to remember if there's any final thing that, like, I'm not 100% like certain on or have like a solid theory for at this point. Because I think I have not necessarily everything, but I have most of my questions essentially solved. Even down to a symbolic level. I guess the only thing that would be outstanding would be all the stuff related to, would be the stuff related to the Kaneki family. Omaetachi. She's using plural. That's why she's using... Okay. Because I kept skipping the... I'll say the gauntlet. So listening to that again, or at least going through there again, is definitely gonna help me... I don't want to even say, like, necessarily clarify, but just, like, fully understand everything else that was going on. Or at least understand really what she was meaning. This is the last Jizo. The final requirement. Giving up the brooch. A rejection. A rejection of his affection. It rusted instantly. Or oxidized. A gift I cannot accept. Offered a brooch to the ancient Jizo statue. That was the last requirement I needed for the for the true ending. So now I'm firmly locked in. Because the two things that I feel like changed... Oh my god. Because all the other puzzles, it makes sense why they would necessarily change depending on the difficulty setting. But like, the one at Hinako's door and the one in the next nightmare are the only two that don't necessarily make complete sense to be tied to the difficulty setting. Or to change because of the difficulty setting. And like, each one so far has changed. But specifically the riddles have been... At least the next two feel too tied to the story. Gross. You're worth it. Hi, Sippers. Gross. That's why... Okay. It's almost broken. That's why that attack isn't even directly dangerous to me. It just boxes me in. It quite literally boxes me in. And keeps me, and like makes me struggle if I try to leave or break free from where it's trying to like pin me. Because gossip can be like that. Yeah, this is about to break, but I can't use my That's also... Doing it this way also makes it so that I can consistently have a value for the repair kits. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Now I forgot what I was even saying. Then who are you two? I think the only thing that I'm still... the only thing I'm not, like, entirely... completely, like, 100% on is the stuff when it comes to the axe murderer. Because that seems like a very important kind of plot detail that I don't have enough info on. Because part of that also explains, I guess, why Rinko isn't... Not Rinko. Why Junko isn't also a fox mask. Because she wasn't actually spirited away, she was just married to another guy. I need to start using these chocolates more. Yokon. Alright. So then I'm also wondering if the scenes inside the house change depending on which ending that she's going for, which ending that you're kind of closest to. Because every choice that can lead up to it or decide it has already been made. You're still going to be about the fishery, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. It does change. This changes based off which ending you're going for. That's fascinating. White and black fought, battling upon a set of scales, yet neither wanted for the scales, for what they desired was simply a quiet, gray place where they could belong together. Whether we flee or spread our wings and fly is our decision alone, one to make only once we are ready. They had no use for those who towered from the heavens, imposing their will on others. That's so cool. So then I wonder what changes depending on the puzzle difficulty. Either the wording or just like how much they tell you. I'll take the Yokon. Inari Sushi's way too good to not have. Wait, that also means that I can't open up the last, I can't open up the Diary of Revenge in here. That's why it's an achievement to make sure that you pick it up then. Alright. So then, okay, that means a lot changes here. Or a lot has the capacity to change. The box has some sort of seal on it, and I can't open it anymore. Just Hinako. How much of the house changes depending on the ending you get? Now that is my biggest question. That's so cool. So it is really good that I went through and did the bad ending. Because there's so much context that I just otherwise not have gotten. Kimi, tomorrow's the big day. I'm looking forward to seeing Hinako dressed as a bride. Married couple's letter. I still can't believe she's marrying that rich young man. We won't have to worry about money ever again, and I'm sure Hinako will be happy too. You must feel a huge burden's been lifted off of your shoulders. Let's take life easy now. We can fulfill that dream of yours of going to every onsen in Japan. If there are any other wishes that you want to come true, just say the word. It's Mom's handwriting from here on. Kanta, my dream is to hear you say such sweet words to me directly, not on paper. Ugh. Ugh. That... That... Damn. Alright. I mean... Good on her for saying that. I do not need all these Higashi. Like, it's going to be nice, some of it, but I do not need all of it. That's locked. Okay, that's everything. So I still need a propane. I still need that. What about the hallway with Shu? That also makes me wonder what changes later. Is there anything I can donate? I'm gonna turn in 3 of these. Because I do not need this many. Because I have to go this way. God damn it. That also explains where Rinko went. Another pipe here. Won't budge. This. Dried carcass. Now I'm like extra cautious because I want to make sure that I do not miss any type of note that I got. This does not make me happy about whatever scenes I'm gonna end up seeing. Oh, right. Because that means all those are gonna change too. Can save there. Did I walk by a door? No. Enemy. Another dried carcass. Come on, just dissipate. I hate this thing. Knife's better. Or not, if I'm still, like, right next there. This brings me through here. This should have the propane? No. The propane, like 2. I have a bunch of ramune, so I don't really need a lot of the chocolate anymore. No cutscene in there. So then where are the other ones? Nothing here, and nothing in the other one. I hear you. so gross. Hi, coffee. Only have the kitchen knife and I only have the axe left. This thing deals surprisingly huge amount of damage. Okay. Do I have any... I might have to use the kutsu. I say as I'm sitting on like 2 Inari sushi, but whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. 1, 2, then up and then to the left. Please die already. That took like half of the durability. Take the kutsu then. Is that really it though? I haven't seen a single... new scene just yet. Does not make me excited for the room scenes, because those are only... I was gonna say they can only get worse, but I don't necessarily believe that. Hinako one's incredibly heavy. Oh, Hinako's completely on her own. I'm always alone, so it's okay if I play by myself. Yeah, so they're all still... Doesn't feel like... I feel like someone's watching me. So that was the last piece I need. That means the only place to go left is the room. Junko.
お姉ちゃんはどうして知らない人と結婚できたの？親同士で話して、仲人さんが入って、その上で私にふさわしい方と分かって紹介されたんだもの。出会うのは初めてでも、きっと仲良くなれるって確信があったわ。恋愛結婚も素敵だと思うけれど、恋は盲目。籍を入れた後に 相手の嫌な面に気づいても遅いのよ。
That's wrong.
私にはお姉ちゃんたちの言うことがよくわからないよ。ひな子だって幸せな結婚をして幸せな人生を歩みたいでしょ。そこが違うの。そこが多分私とお姉ちゃんの、私と世界の一番の違いなの。違いって？私、幸せになることが絶対に大切とは思ってないの。もちろん幸せにはなりたいよ。でもそれよりも大事なことがあるの。それは何？自分で選択したかどうか。私はね、幸せにしてもらいたいんじゃない。自分で選んで幸せになりたいの。たとえ幸せになれなかったとしても、自分で選んだ結果はとても尊くて、私には価値があるように思えるの。みんなが女の幸せと呼ぶもの、頼もしい旦那様と大勢の子供たち、そういうものと生涯無縁になるとしても構わない。私には幸せになれるかどうかよりも、自分で運命を選べたかどうかが大事なの。私には綺麗事に聞こえるけれどね。でもひな子の言うことが間違ってるとも思えない。あと100年、いや、ひょっとしたらもう少し早いかも。どんな結果だろうと、自分で選んだ結果ならそれが幸せだとそうと言える時代がきっと訪れると思うわ。お姉ちゃんはその世界には行けないけれど、ひな子は行けるといいね。どんな結果だろうとも、自分で結果を選べることが幸せ。自分で選べなかった結果は幸せじゃないんだ。誰にも操らせない。私の選択は。
Good. Project from art class. My future self. Shimizu Hinako. The canvas is blank. But even now, imagining the countless possibilities of what I could fill in all this blank space with makes me excited. That's really nice. No, this is... I'm glad. I'm glad. Someone's watching it, it's us viewers. I don't think she's necessarily talking about that. I don't want to use the axe just yet, because I think I'm gonna need it. It's stuck. Oh, I thought that was another note. Shriveled Abara. Give me this. Wait, I missed the door. Easy. Alright. This one should have an enemy in it. Yep. It doesn't seem like a fourth wall break. No, it's... No, this is way more... Ooh. No, this game works a lot more just in metaphor. I'll take the kitchen knife. Good. And this goes this way, so then there's still nothing. Because that's stuck. Another toolkit. Still need to go in there, but I still need... Yeah, this is the long way, because I still need to get the propane pipe. Does using focus attacks make sure that I can't break at the end? Arare. This should be... No. Yeah, this is the room that doesn't exist. I wonder what this is, though. I wonder what's the point of this? Because it just keeps going. I'll take whatever healing I can grab right now, because I'm going to need it. It won't break the weapon. Interesting. Give me the Okon. More dolls. The flower. It's a metaphor. God, I feel like I'm just gonna keep saying that. The kakara makakara, kakara makakara, kakara makakara. Like this room just keeps repeating again and again and again and again. However many layers. 1, 2, 3. That's why this room is like that. Okay. Why is the bird room here? Huh? Wait, what?
Come on.
I have tea right next to me. Oh.
Come on.
Yeah, I can take a sip while I wait. Thank you. So then what's in place of the normal bird room? I hate this. Oh, that hit it on a downward swing. No, because they're still... or not. Yeah, because that's usually the bird room, so... That means that there's a new important memory in that room, and not this one. Because the only other times that I was getting, like, parent memories were on the normal ending. Hinako did a lot more track and field than Heather. I love you. I love you. I don't know why you're here. I don't know why you're here. You get to keep this. The only place left to go is Hinako's room. Thank you for following, Salty James. Not a Daruma. The headpiece. Not exactly sure what that is. And like, there hasn't exactly been any type of answer, which is why I still just think that it's like a reference to the, did I just not grab the pipe that was there? Well, I think it's a reference to the head from Silent Hill 4. You can't bet Fifi. Fifi is not a tradable currency. Alright, so what else is in here? There's still no... Wait, okay. No memory in here. I have the tube, I have the wax, I have the picture of Hinako. So I just need to come back through here. This is back in the first one. Okay. I keep thinking the room with the propane is like one room sooner. Now I'm deathly curious what that bird room is. I think there's a sickle. Like on Phoebe uses currency if drawn on paper slips. Like store credits? I still don't know what that scream is. Crap. I can just run through this. I can still run through this. Hang on, so that I can't use that because the enemies are nearby. I need to be able to pick up another weapon because I'm going to need it for the gauntlet after this. Because there's also the I almost forgot about the actual boss fight that's like coming up. Store credit seems like a good idea. I can hardly afford. I can hardly afford for there to be like discounts as it is. Stamina, because I need this most right now. And 400 off. I almost have like max everything. Interesting. Okay, run through, then I can run back. What is in here?
母さん、ひな子の誤解を解いておきたいの。
誤解って？
ひな子はお母さんのこと、お父さんにいつもいじめられてるって思ってる？
そんなこと。
確かにお父さんはちょいと短気な人だけど、娘の前ではいい格好がしたいだけの照れ屋な人なんだよ。
あんなに怒鳴ったり物を投げつけたりしてきたのに。
お父さんはね、ずっと夢があったの。自分と友達で小さなお店を持ちたいって。
夢？
そう。お父さんには仲のいいお友達がいてね、船に乗っていた頃からかな、弟みたいに可愛いっていつも言ってた。でもね、何かあったんだろうね。急にお父さんが貯めてたお金全部持って逃げちゃった。きっとどうしようもない理由があったんだろうね。悪い人には見えなかったから。お父さん、それですごく傷ついてね、荒れてた時期があったの。落ち着くといつも私には謝ってくれたよ。でもね、子供には弱い父親の姿を見せたくないからって。男の人はプライドが高いから。
だからって家族を傷つけていいわけがない。
ひな子はきっと家に入ると女は男に虐げられるってそう思い込んじゃってるんだろうね。でもね、あんたが思ってるほど女もお母さんも弱くはないんだよ。お父さんなんて娘の前ではかっこつけて威張ってるけど、あんたたちがいない時は全然違うんだから。以前お母さんとお父さん大喧嘩したことがあるの。
知らない。そんなことあったの？
お母さん、お父さんが謝ってくるまで徹底的に無視してやったよ。あんたたちがいる前では普通に振る舞ってたけどね。おかずもお父さんの嫌いなものばっかりにして、お茶に雑巾の絞り汁入れてやったこともあるの。
お母さんが信じられない。
お父さん、たったの3日で音をあげたよ。あんたと純子が寝静まった後、そこにベターっと土下座してね。
お父さんが本当に？
そうだよ。私とお父さんが本気で喧嘩をしたら、お父さんが私に勝てるわけないじゃない。でもね、それは私たち夫婦の話。娘のお前に心配かけたのは本当に申し訳ないと思ってるよ。
her passage finally updated. My mom smiled through tears of joy when Junko got married. Was she really so happy to be sending her daughter off to suffer the same fate as her? Did she raise her just to be beaten and abused by some man? What even is a bride price anyway? Why did they make a profit off of Junko getting married? Did they get more money because they taught her how to cook and sew? Well, I won't learn those things. You won't make a single yen off of me. I won't be like my mother. Not now, not ever. Why did my mother even marry him in the first place? How could anyone possibly call themselves happy, having to spend their entire life with someone like him? Mom once told me, a husband and wife support each other for the whole of their lives, in sickness and in health. You see, it took me a long time to recover after giving birth to you. I caused your father a lot of trouble with my mood swings, but no matter how much I complained, he stood by me through it all without so much as a frown. I know he may not turn out to be much of a father to you girls, but all in all, he's been a good enough husband to me. Junko says that she is happy, but I just don't get it. Neither she nor my mom ever look happy. Then again, when I tell her about my ideas of happiness, she just says that those don't sound very happy to her at all. What matters most to my sisters are results. What matters most to me is choice. Even if it's what makes my sister happy, if I can't make my own choices, then I will be unhappy forever. But if what makes me happy doesn't give my sister the results she wants, then she will be unhappy. Though our concepts of happiness may differ, I think as sisters we can respect each other's version of it and take comfort when we know the other has found it. That completely brings the whole balance thing completely in line. Letter from my uncle, Kanta. Your dad has a brother? I shall be brief and to the point. It's very unfortunate about Kimi. I'm sorry, and I understand why you would want her to go ahead with the surgery. But surgery can do more harm than good. Remember how Mother never properly recovered after hers. I understand how you feel, I really do. But please reconsider before taking on debt for an operation that might not even make her better. Wouldn't Kimi rather you try to enjoy the time you have left together? Either way, you need to talk it out with Kimi first. Knowing you, you probably haven't said a word of this to her yet, have you? I can't cover the whole operation, but I'll send what little I have to spare. Buy Kimi something nice with it, got it? Shotaro. That's how he got his debt. Okay. Okay. That's a lot. But that... Wow, okay. No, that brings everything in line. That brings everything about the whole balance between, like traditional values and quote-unquote modern, and modern beliefs. Just 1 second too slow. That brings everything about traditional values and modern beliefs completely in line. It's about balance, not necessarily rejection of one or the other. That's really fascinating. I there's a lot to like unpack with that. With time. And right now the big important thing to solve it is in here. White and black fought, battling upon a set of scales. Yet neither wanted for the scales, for what they desired was simply a quiet, great place where they could belong together. Whether we flee or spread our wings and fly is our decision alone, one to make only once we are ready. They had no use for those who towered from the heavens, imposing their wills on others. White and black fought, battling upon a set of scales, yet neither wanted for the scales, for what they desired was simply a quiet, great place where they could belong together. Balance.
Hinako, 今少しいいか。
なんかよ。
お前に謝っておこうと思ってな。
何を？
俺は情けない父親だった。長い間怒鳴ったり怖がらせたりして悪かった。
今頃謝ってなかったことになんかなるわけないでしょ。あれだけ長いことみんなに迷惑かけて全部チャラになるなんて本気で思ってるの？
思ってない。お前の気持ちを考えれば到底許せるわけもない。それを重々分かってる。それでも俺に謝らせてくれ。許してくれなくて構わないから。
はあ、あんた一人がスッキリしたいからってだけで勝手に謝ってるの？迷惑だよ。帰ってよ。今だって急に怒り出して包丁を投げつけてこないか怖くてたまらないんだから。
子供に怖がられるくらいが威厳のある父親だと誤解していたんだ。本当にすまない。
じゃあ勝手にこれからもそうしててよ。出てってよ。それでもお父さんは謝ってくれてる。許す許さないは私たちの勝手だけど、お父さんの謝りたいっていう気持ちまでも無限にはできないよ。お父さんの都合なんか知らないよ。家族だよ。それでもお母さんに聞いたでしょ。お父さんられて辛い目にあったって。辛い理由があったから乱暴も許せっていうの？そんなのまかり通らない。そう、まかり通らない。許す必要もない。縁を切り言い訳も謝罪も聞いてやる義理は確かにない。でもね、家族の縁は切れないんだよ。だから許さなくてもいいけれど聞いてあげなくちゃ。お父さんの気持ちだけは受け止めてあげて。お母さんはお父さんを許しているのかもしれないけど私には無理。知ってる？ 私たちとお父さんは血がつながっているけど、お父さんとお母さんは血なんかつながってないんだよ。結婚したってだけの赤の他人のお母さんがお父さんの話を聞いて許せたんだよ。どうして血のつながりのある私たちが話も聞いてあげられないの？怖かったと思う。今も怖いと思う。許せないと思うし、顔も見たくない気持ちもわかる。それでも話だけは聞いてあげて。許さなくてもいいから、お父さんの気持ちだけは受け止めてあげて。
もし俺のせいで男というものに恐怖を覚えているなら、それは誤解だ。俺はろくでなしだが、他の父親たちは違う。俺とは正反対で、琴行君は立派な青年だ。彼なら絶対にお前を幸せにしてくれる。付き合うのなら柊君、立派な男だけどな。あいつならお前をやれるとずっと思っていた。しかしそんなのは俺の勝手な決めつけで、結婚するもしないもお前が自分で決めて構わない。俺を許さなくていいから、俺の呪縛から解放されて幸せに生きてくれ。今まですまなかった。
今でも怖いし、許せるかどうかわからないけど、お父さんの気持ちだけは受け取ったから。
Jesus Christ, what a game. Yeah, one. Phenomenal cinematography. That was incredible. That was genius. The perfect overlap for her to finally give that answer. That's so good. Also, yeah, well, welcome, Bern. Yeah, no. I kept saying it, but that kind of just like also said it directly outright. No. The monster in the story is patriarchy. Under patriarchy and societal expectations, neither men nor women or anybody else is free. They're all bound by societal expectations. After Dad saved up enough money from fishing, he decided to start up a restaurant with his longtime friend, someone who was like a little brother to him. That friend, however, stabbed him in the back and ran off with all his money, leaving him with nothing but debt. Apparently, that's when things really started heading south for my dad. I mean, I do sympathize with him, but his past is his problem, not mine, and it definitely doesn't excuse him for making every day a living hell for me. When it's just him and my mom, he apologizes for the life of poverty he's forced us into due to his debts. According to Mom, there is nothing more shameful in this world to a father than letting his daughter see his weak side. If he acts the way he does to me just to hide something as dumb as that, then I think I might just go crazy right now. This house is theirs. It has nothing to do with me. I was just born here. I may be Hinako, the little bird, but I have wings of my own. And if he doesn't care about how I want to live my life, then I'll just spread my wings and fly away. Wherever I choose to go will be entirely up to me. Yeah, you came in, no, this is the tail end of everything. That's incredible. Never saw anything else about this game before. It's really good. Such changing me at the end of the story. Especially in oh my god. I didn't have the stamina. That's bad. Ryukishi might be the best to ever do it. Sincerely, Ryukishi might be one of the best writers I think I've ever had the pleasure of, like, experiencing the work of. And like, yeah, cause like, wow, that's a lot. Cause yeah, a lot of things, especially in this, from here, since stepping in this house and everything after it, changes rather drastically due to which ending that I'm locked into. And currently this is the ending. This is the true ending. This is the true ending path. Past the normal ending. Past good fortune ending. Past tail wedding ending. And I also got the UFO ending. But that is not actually story relevant or important in any way whatsoever. That one's just for fun. But no, there's been a lot of story development. And a lot of notes that I've been reading, which all really add a lot of context. This is not the type of game where if you get one ending and you watch the rest online, you still get, like, the story. Like, it is genuinely impossible to get any type of context out of that. Like, there's a lot of dialogue that just changes. There's a lot of dialogue that just changes. There's a lot of context that you get more and more of as you're going through the game again and again and again. And I'm just, like, floored. Because I've effectively played through this game entirely 3 different times. And not one run has felt superfluous. Like, each one has important info. Each one has important info, has important story. Like... God, that's absolutely insane. So Armor Crit 6 is one of my favorite games recently. It is really good. It's really, really good. New game plus, that's really cool. Yeah, kind of, yeah, no. You've now seen this like 4 to 5 times. Like, significant story stuff changes. There's different notes that you can get. And the more that you get full context, the more conversations that you've heard multiple times make more and more sense.
遅かったな。今から始めるところだったぞ。誰のなんだと。
Fisheries. That was the guy on the phone.
ご一同様、包丁のさえをどうぞご覧ください。よー。
He's doing this for an audience.
なんだその言い草は。
That's why you hear all the voices. That's why the context of this being 1960s Japan, like, genuinely is super vital. The pride aspect is genuinely a super massive, important part of this. The knife? Do I have any healing? That knife from a distance really just messed me up bad. Patriarchs often perform for an audience. Precisely. I only have the Inari Sushi. So much for like stocking up on the healing. Cool. Yeah, no, better do this. Oh, I'm also on the Lost in Fog difficulty, by the way. Which is the hardest difficulty that this game has. Even this boss fight's like really... Sorry, buddy. I'm used to fighting T-Rex. I'm used to dealing with roars. Even this boss fight works incredibly well. Because he is the main and only threat that's like actually important. And like her mother... Oh my god. Oh my god. All her mother does is just enable him, while making it harder for you to do anything. Like, her just being around makes the fight harder. They're a knife. You can also probably tell that I've gotten maybe a little used to fighting this. She's so aggressive. As long as I hold on to the good sit down, fine. Oh my god. You have to stop throwing that at me. There we go. That's annoying. That gives you so much context for him. And her mother. It also means a lot that it's Shimizu that pushes for her inner self to not necessarily forgive her father, but like to understand her, to understand him. Drinking sake to ease your pain, instead of actually being able to talk to him about it. That's why he doesn't properly understand it, or why it's bad that he's giving it to her. That's why he answers that in such a roundabout way. That's why he's just performing too. Filtered mixtures of rice and water offered to ancestral spirits. It contains divine power. That would be the only way that you would understand it. You only understand it as an offering. Because the town has its own distillery. Okay.
そうか、気をつけて。行こう。君のために用意した一番大切なものがある。
So, I think the two ways that I can at least, like, somewhat, I want to say internalize, or at least, like, understand the presentation. This half of Hinako, this is much more of her feminine side. Whereas the other half of Hinako, Shimi, is closer to her masculine side. This side is characterized more by the black bird, the other side is characterized more by the white bird. And I'm curious how much that theory is going to hold true, because the next puzzle will also change depending on the this next puzzle should change in accordance to me being on the true ending. That's why the other ones of doing this, like the first two times that I did this, were a lot more confusing, because I couldn't put together what was actually going on. I didn't have proper context. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. Nobody knows when and if the eggs will hatch, not even the chicks themselves. Two chicks confide in one another in their shell. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. Two chicks confide in one another, while the fox watches over them in his lantern. I assume this means fox goes here. The black and white ones are here because they'll be communicating with one another. Because these are the only two talking to one another. These are the two that are moving away. This is the one that is sleeping. This is the one leading a procession. The blackbird in her cage. Now I understand. Foxmass isn't necessarily malevolent. Fox watches over them in the light of this lantern. Yeah, okay. So, Kodayuki, Foxmass isn't necessarily malevolent. He's just misinformed and misguided. He genuinely does mean well for her. How it is coming out and how it was presented to him as like what would be the best thing for her, again, was heavily dictated by societal standards and societal expectations. That's what the tale, that's what the tail ending, like, really highlighted. That he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just acting in accordance to what he was told. Hi, Lena. But that also doesn't mean that he's innocent either. Just like Hinako's father, it is still her choice to forgive him. But he's simply... No, he's an impressionable young boy. He's following in the steps of what he's told is what would make her happy, which is a marriage. The time for rebirth is now. Respect us. Serve us. Become the good and clever woman you ought to be. Ryukishi might be the best to ever do it. Not good. Not good. I cannot be in this corner. I got exceptionally lucky. Everyone's acting with good intentions. With good intention, but bad info then. I'm reserved to say bad info as much as bad influences. And that influence being patriarchy. Like I can't I can't say it in any other way that the biggest monster that everybody is suffering from is patriarchy and societal expectations. Like that is the core of all of this. Wait, I don't have the brooch anymore. Okay, but it still opens. Probably because these are mandatory. This is sweeping me away. Because, like, the one thing that I was still honestly most confused about was everything related to Junko. Realize your good fortune. This miracle is more than you deserve. Gratitude isn't something you demand. No, you're fine. Trying to remember. I think I go left here. No. I should have went right. That explains... Okay, then that explains these. These rooms are punishments for not following the correct path. Literally and metaphorically. That's why these things were tripping me up constantly. I need a siphon. I was out of stamina for that. That has a hitbox on it? Interesting. Oh, and that... Okay, I'll take it. Well, in this fight for me, the better. That's why... That's why you would need the foxes to tell you which way is the right way. I should still need to only go straight. That's why... Okay, that explains a lot then. Specifically, precisely the symbolism between each of like these nightmare segments, I don't know how else to call it. I'm understanding more and more. So yeah, you go through here, do not move right, do not move left, simply go directly ahead. Yeah, that was the correct way. Do not deviate from the path, keep walking straight through it. So that means that this monster isn't necessarily directly her father, but father figures in general. That's why it still has so much overlap. That's why she also keeps saying she's thankful for the power that she was granted. Because this does make combat easier, but it is not her own power. Nothing she was doing in here was her own power. Even the lantern that she had at the start, the dagger she had at the start, the naginata that she was gifted. Have to be very careful. There should be one more. Yeah. Because there's 3. Okay, that should be each one. And then this is the white sparrow. It is more important here, right now, to make sure that I pick up everything that I can, especially for the upcoming gauntlet. Now I just need the last one. With her blood, shall our clan prosper. May our ancestors rejoice.
私はお前たちの小屋しか何かなのかバカにするな
Shimizu's breaking through this time. Interesting. I'd still rather have the more stamina. Still. So there's still at least a couple Omamori that I'm missing. That I'm missing. Thank you. I have tea. So I still just got through here. It's not exactly distracting. There's not exactly a lot going on right now. Because the only other important scene that's kind of coming up is after dealing with what's in the next room. Come close, women must submit to men. Kotoyuki is still but a fledgling. Come, and we shall treat you as we see fit. Look into my eyes. That note is correct. Kotoyuki is still just a fledgling. He's unaware of what's actually happening. That's why you also still get no map. You're completely blinded at this point.
Rather cute, aren't you?
Trust me, I don't feel cute with this arm. Especially not in here.
Come on.
Let me crap that. Trust me, I really wish I did not have this hand. But as long as I have it, I can at least use it for my own needs. Not good. Is that the last one? Why is it always at the end screen when I do it? I'm sorry, Tiagi. It really is just unfortunate timing. Okay. So does this conversation change then?
純子さん
お取り込み中ごめんなさい。
But now that I have proper context for
少しだけ
this,
話がしたいのだけれど、よろしいかしら。
because Junko still believes she's doing what she thinks is right, or what will at least lead Hinako to happiness.
お姉ちゃん、まだ
That's why you actually...
しっかりなさい。しっかりって。未練は拙速では立てない。そう思い、時間を与えたけれど。生きていてもいいなんて考えてないわよね。そんな甘えは許さない。殺せ。必ず。いいえ。お時間をありがとうございます。それではこれにて。
He gives Junko that time not because he respects her as a woman or somebody significant to Hinako, as much as he respects her as being a married woman. Talking sense into her sister. Not the pregnancy demon. Very internalized fear of pregnancy after seeing her sister.
あなた様のお印ですね。
After seeing her sister suffer through morning sickness. No, I don't think Hinako even wants the breeding part either. So let's see if my assumption is right. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. Nobody knows when or even if the eggs will hatch, not even the chicks themselves. Within their shells, a fox watches over them. If it's not these two... because it's the two confiding in each other. How would they confide in one another? There's something I'm missing. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. I did not say either. I did not say that. In their shell. But a fox watches over them in their lantern. It could be... No. It would be the fox that's over them. It's not the one that's sleeping, and I don't think it's the one that's walking away. What if... Hang on. What if this is the lantern? Because these are still the only two that are, like, talking directly to each other. The game most certainly is not like that, I can assure you. Within their shells. Because that one's not in a shell. So which one? It would be... Okay, if they're confiding in each other, then they have to be able to see one another. Which means that they would have to talk to one another. Watches over them within the light of his own. So how close would they have to be? Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. These two are the closest to one another. Watches over them in the light of his lantern. Which makes me think that Fox Mask needs to be at least higher. But then the foxes themselves also play a part in this. So I don't think it's related to these two at all, because those two are related to another puzzle of walking away. And I don't think the sleeping one's connected either, so I think these two have to be related. Fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. So I think it's either... Okay. I think it's these two, because it's those two talking to each other. The one watching over them is you, but it could also be any of the ones down here, like directly low. Or... No. Well, maybe. Because the three that are closest to each other would be this. But I could have sworn we already did one similar to this. Yeah, no, incorrect. This was the only one that I was concerned about. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. The fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. If it's in their shells, then I assume that means that it's in their lantern. Or... because I'm thinking too much about... I think that stays there. And then maybe... No, because they're not conversing. They confide in one another. Because that one's sleeping. These two are talking. These two are walking away. They're all talking to each other. This one's the leader. There's something I'm missing. What am I missing? Nobody knows when or even if the eggs will hatch, not even the chicks themselves. It can't be the sleeping one, and I don't think it's the two walking away, so it has to be those two. So it has to be something related to... Foxmask has to be in one of the lanterns. So then, what is their shells? Confide in one another in their shells. Maybe they're in the slightly wrong spots? No. The watching over them makes me think that it has to be in a lantern. The fox emblem has to be in a lantern and it has to be at the highest one. In which case it would be up there. But then how do I make the two confide in one another? No. I think this is the tallest one. So which two would be talking to each other? This one throws me off so bad. Fox was the leader. That one was for normal. That one was in the normal ending. Because the description for the fox is a fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. The interpretation of... Because the thing that keeps throwing me off about this is because there were a couple that were like... This one... What was it? Whitebird was sleeping in this one. Blackbird was in the cage here, and then the fox mask was in here, and that was the answer for the bad ending. Turning away and walking away, I think that was the requirements for the good ending. It put the two birds in here, and then it put the fox mask somewhere around here, which actually means he might be there. But then which shells? So he's watching over them with the lantern. Then it's either that one or it's this one. Because he's the only one that's looking back at them. No, but that was an answer for one of the other ones. This one is so rough because there are so many different possibilities. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. There's usually an illustration that also goes with these. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. I think the fox mask is the only one that's in... that might be in a lantern. I don't think it's these two. But then what would be... would it be these two? Yeah. Because those two were the closest. Because those two were the closest. Foxmask was the one furthest away, watching over directly to two of them. Okay. That's why you're doing this in such a traditional way. You literally have no context for modern... Because Kotoyuki can't be much older than her. I'm also gonna be honest, every single time that has gone off, I keep thinking of the Vine Boom sound effect. I thought that literally since the first time that it happened, and I've been holding it in every single time to, like, mention it to not throw off the scene. So. That last one's new. Okay, so one, I wasn't going to skip this anyway because I needed to do it for the achievement. Skipping progress will not affect the story. Achievements tied to action difficulty will not be obtained if skip. That last one of, this will also skip content you have not seen yet, is entirely new. So no, I'm not skipping, because that implies that there is new content here. Because that is the first time that has shown up, and I've now seen that 3 times. The boom sound effect whenever you see a moai head. Path results. So this is the final. Ooh. This is the final real combat test. She didn't say that before. Let me run through... Whoops. Let me run through these actually expendable weapons. Because there's going to be a lot more that I can pick up. I hear you. A bunch of these lines are completely new. Because a huge part has also been the fact that, like, oh no. Has been that she wanted Shu to see her as a woman, even though it goes against part of her own desire. Again, when it comes to a bunch of those expectations. Can you, like, please die? Please? Okay. That means I'm also almost gonna have to exclusively use the repair stuff on the katana. Do I not have any chocolate? No, but I have a bunch of... Not actually a lot, actually. That means I should start using Nikutsu. The pristine axe. That... okay. Another aspect of this, the entire, like, tradition is fine. Like... Again, your faith allowing you to restore your sanity. You're using all these old shrines to save your progress, to draw more power in for your upgrades. So not all tradition is inherently bad and needs to necessarily be rejected. Like, the fact that it's not just saying... The fact that it's, like, not just saying all tradition is bad, all old customs are bad, and you need to unburden yourself with them. Like, it adds so much more nuance than just being, like, bad, like, old stuff bad, new stuff good. Dude, how are you so durable? I want to hold on to this axe for a little bit. can't go into Kodayuki's house. Interesting. Oh, you. It's so funny how like 2 to 3 Omamori completely changed this game into being way more action-y. Behind me. You're just gonna sit there and watch? Okay. Sickle. I don't want to get rid of either of these. Honestly, the sickle could be really good, and the sooner I can get rid of this guy, the sooner I'm free to move as much as I want. I've been trying to fish to do that for so long. Yeah, they're giving me a bunch of weapons. I think it's still better if I hold on to this. Because there's gonna be another, yeah, right there. Rathalos, you are not. Makes me very curious about the... Yeah, because this is me go through here. Cool, crowbar. And chocolate that I don't need because I have so many first aid kits. Actually, I'll take this then. Because this is like the one shrine that they're gonna give me on this route. Or at least right here. Because I still need to get... I think I need to get all the way to Chusuriya. Kitchen knife, I'll take that over the bat, just because it has higher damage. She's so much more resolved. I hear you. Not good. Inari sushi. Way better than chocolate. Kutsu. Oh, I'm starting to get like really really stacked up on items. I hate the way they whine like dogs. Okay, that was well worth the trip. I am way too overstocked on items at this point. Like, I have the maximum amount of inventory that I can have in this game now. And like half of it is with first aid kits. Cannot get close to that. That's so awful. Ooh, wrong weapon. Okay. Safe this way. Okay, and then I can use this. Yeah. Because I still just have to head straight for Chizuria. This feels way more dense. Tension headache. She's referring to we as both of her.
運命は私たちが自ら、私たちが十分に悩み抜いて納得してから選ぶ。お前たちのおもちゃにはもうならないぞ。
あらあら、本当に綺麗な子。
属性の娘よ、幸運であったな。かように貧弱な嫁ごとは。
ようこそ。どうか心安らかな日々を。
First puzzle's an arrangement of offerings. That's why when you're first here, you're in here. Underwater again.
「それではお別れを。あなたが幸せをつかんでくれることを願っています。」
Our definition of happiness is so different, though. The doll. Play with me forever. Right, I still have the soul siphon. That's gonna make this slightly more difficult. But it should still be fine. As long as I can top off each time that I run into another Yokon, into another healing item, the rest of this should be honestly smooth sailing. I have a lot more healing than I thought I would have here. Or at least more than last time. I'd just rather not deal with those things right now. And regardless of what I choose... Hinako has an incredible follow-through, not only with a baseball bat, with her own swing. Oh, that's siphoned both of them. Okay. Is that another Kutsu? It is. I don't have the space. I don't have the space. I can offer the dried carcass. I'm now, like, almost overstocked multiple times on multiple of the best healing items in the game. And it just keeps getting better. Switch that out. I don't think I'm gonna need the Hagashi. There's a bandage here. And then I just got rid of an Arare, whatever. I'm the only one who truly cares about Shimizu Hinako's happiness. Who are you in her heart, though? I still don't have an answer for that. Because the dolls appeared. The doll has appeared. Oh my god. I need to be careful. The doll has appeared in both halves. Both the Dark Shrine and the Foggy Town. Both either to help her or warn her she's also still a doll, but not a traditional Japanese doll. The Hinako still holds in a special place in her heart. I'm like trying so hard to put so many of these final pieces together before it ends up just telling me. The chisel. But you? This one doesn't change. Her lines here are still the same as they were before. Oh my god, whatever. Is that a Yokon? It is. And I don't have the space. Like, I want to keep each of these still. Like, there's no reason for me to get rid of them. I'm gonna save while that horrible thing spawns. If you dare submit to the foxes, I shall curse you. There you are. As a final combat challenge, I genuinely really like this. Divine water that I desperately needed. Because in this one chapter, you fight basically every enemy in the game from both sides. Come on. I think that's it. I think that's literally everything for this. I'm also going to be extremely impressed that the true ending has its own boss fight. Because so far there has been a unique boss for each ending. Each ending barring the UFO ending, because that's the joke one.
た子や。綺麗だよ。ほら、お父さん。
ここはもうお前の家ではない。
He's crying.
一人で帰ってきても敷居をまたげると思うな。
That explains this a lot more. Then the cycle just keeps repeating. From that point on, the cycle just keeps repeating. Help Shimizu Hinako, please. And we're back here. But this time with a lot more items. Hang on. There we go. Do I have, like, anything else that I can put in here? An Inari sushi? I'll take it. I'll also probably switch out the... maybe. The Omamori setup that I have right now is, like, really nice. Like, I don't really have any complaints. Like, the only downside is the fact that whenever I do the dodge for the special counter, it does drain all my stamina, but then, like, all I really need is a couple of the Higashi and then it's fine. I don't ever really need more than just the 3 that I have now.
あなたは誰？どうして私を操ろうとしていたの？
Like, if there's any spot to use the Higashi, it has to be, like, here. Bad. You caught me in the middle of that? That's why that animation got really weird. Oh, you were both just, like, literally one tap away from dying. Whatever. I don't want the pipe to break just yet. I'll use all the other weapons. I'm too committed to the idea of... I'm too committed to the pipe as the iconic weapon for this, for Hinako. It must survive until the end.
Come on.
How's your posture? I'm sitting up straight.
Come on.
Do I have divine water? There's something. Okay. Oh, divine water is 100%. So, here's one other small thing, not necessarily small. But like, a lot of the healing items are either more childish snacks, like the arare, I believe the yokan, the ramune, I can swap this out. And like, the only things that are better than the candy in terms of healing are like the actual practical stuff and the divine water. So like, consistently, there's a very childish part still in Hinako, in her subconscious. Which would also explain why she still has that doll from, like, her childhood. Because that celluloid doll is the one that she had when she was much younger, the one that's at the start of the game. When Junko was still living with them. When she's still a little girl. I'm gonna need to get rid of, like, one thing. The Orade I'm keeping. I'm gonna have to make a hard decision. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. One, two, three. And the dried carcass. I don't even think this is enough to get... No, it's not enough to get another upgrade. But it is enough to draw another Omamori. Slightly increases health after each successful counter. Ooh. Oh, I didn't even notice that the price of this went up. Okay, so yeah. Greatly decreases focus, charging, and time. Greatly decreases sanity consumption while using focus. I don't think I need these. Press a heavy attack immediately after performing a perfect dodge to deal a powerful counter. This counter greatly consumes stamina. Performing a counter while using a focus, without using focus, increases damage inflicted. Stacks up to 5 times. Perfect dodges become easier. These three have a positive feedback loop in on each other. Can't be anything that's about gaining from defeating enemies. When focusing multiple enemies, greatly decreases the amount of stamina when sprinting. Stamina consumed by heavy and charge attacks. But that's a counter. Light attacks deal additional damage when using weapon with high durability. That's very useful. Stores health after each successful counter. Greatly decreases focus charging time. I think I'll do this. Additional damage when using a weapon with high durability, so I'll deal more damage at the start, and I have multiple repairs. Restores health after each successful counter, so I will get health back for doing this dodge attack. Performing a counter without using focus, I believe that also counts for the dodge, and then the dodges are easier to do. Never in my life would I have expected to be able to say I really like this build for this build that I'm running for Silent Hill. Thank you for everything, Sakuko. I'll take the kitchen knife. Yeah, and they just give you a bunch of weapons here. Toolkit. Okay. Yep, that's everything. Alright, I can actually end this. This is everyone from his family watching. The only people that Hinako would have to invite to the wedding would have been Sakuko, Rinko, and Shu, and Junko.
Hinako? あなた、Hinako なの？お姉ちゃん、私たちは誰かのおもちゃにされているの。どういうこと？私を嫁がせたい何者かと、それを妨害したい何者かが私を二つに引き裂いて戦わせている。そんなことって。とても苦しい戦いだったけれど、私はようやくそれに気づけたの。人に望まぬ選択を強いること、それをせかすこと、私たちはそれと戦わなくちゃいけないって気づけたから。ごめんね、お姉ちゃん。ごめんね、お父さん、お母さん。私やっぱり親 は不幸者だと思う。でも本当に私の幸せを願っていてくれるなら、この暴挙をどうか許して。
She's not stopping her.
これが私の選択、そして私たちをもてあそぶ者たちへの抗議。どうして私たちはどちらかが殺されなければならないの？どうして私たちは殺し合うしか対話ができないの
Huh? Susano no Orochi. Foxfires.
まれに人里に真意を宿した希少な血を持つ女子が生まれることだ。そのようなものが里に現れるたびに我らは一族の跡取りにそのものを嫁に欲するようまじないをかけた。
何を言って。
歴代の跡取りたちは皆うまくたぶらかしてめとってきたが、こだわりの跡取りは愚鈍だ。人間の娘一人たぶらかせぬようでは未熟が過ぎる。
トユキさんはずっと私をお嫁さんにしたい一心でずっと努力してきたって。孤独にずっと笑うな。一生懸命に悩んで生きてきたことゆきさんを笑うな。
I'm doing this fight as this Hinako? Defeat the gods. Why is that plural?
彼の気持ちを知るうちに私も同じくらい一生懸命考えなくちゃならないって思ったの。
You still have the same attack pattern. You're the part that got purified in the good ending. That was phase 1. They're no longer fighting one another. She's fighting the half that you fight during the bad ending. This is incredible. You only grew. Trying to use the kutsu. I should have just healed. You only get full improper context if you do all, all the other endings. Oh, it start. This is a proper phase. Like, dying in one of these segments doesn't send me all the way back to the start of the fight. You're just gonna keep summoning ads. You're rough, but I like this. This is like an this is a real boss. I needed to get closer. I can activate the thing from like a dead stop. Them starting you like right at the start of the phase is really nice. Because there were a lot of ways that they could have made this so much worse. So, oh my god. So I was completely, oh my god, Arrow Rain. I was right in the fact that that other ending is not, it's not a blanket bad ending. It is the other choice that the other Hinako wants to make. Arrows. Arrow Rain. That tracks. This one might be my favorite boss. I love those range attacks. That's genuinely super fun. Oh, cool. You. Oh, I dodged that finally. The Yao. Hinako might be my favorite. backing off from that dodge. Starts me from here. So this is the final stretch. The dead final stretch. I didn't even intend to dodge that second attack. Please. Okay, yeah, that part not nearly as rough as this one. Alright. I like this. Also, the fact that they're trading final bosses for respective routes is so cool. Three. I did that way too early. Let's find to find water. Arrowing? And I did it with the pipe. Within 10 minutes. There was an achievement for beating that boss within 10 minutes.
本当にすまない。久しぶりの祝言に酒が過ぎたのだろう。普段は大穴方なのだ。
どうすればいいの？
この場は私が何とかしておく。
琴雪さん、一緒に。
His father.
すまなかった。私は君に全てを与えたつもりで、君が一番欲していたものに気づけなかった。 私も君と同じものが欲しくなったのだ。君への愛は酔狂なまじないによって生み出されたものではないと。行きなさい。
もし私たちへの愛が本物だったなら、また会いましょう。私たちもしっかり悩んで答えを用意しておきます。
Kotoyuki is genuinely kind. I was right. So yeah, no, Kotoyuki genuinely cares and loves her. And because he actually loves her, he'll let her make that decision. And because Shu already loved her, he was always willing to let her have that decision. That boss, incredibly, like, no, the scale and that being so bombastic for, like, the ending of a survival horror game shifting between two halves. Yeah, I don't think... Wow, no, that's great. That's why it can't be... That's why the other ending can't be as simple as just the bad ending. I didn't even use the knife that I picked up from there. That's why that ending let Hinako actually make that decision, instead of trying to force her and stop her. Maybe she will eventually wed Kodayuki. Maybe instead she'll pick Shu. But that's a decision that she has to make for herself. That's why that information that Sakako gave me in that letter seemed so, like, incomplete. The symbolism specifically of the other one, the one that I am, like, that I can't, like, not keep calling Susanoo, just because I keep seeing the seven-sided sword, that one might take me a bit to process, but I really liked it. The days have grown warmer where I am. What is it like in Ebisugaoka? I can still recall the startling beauty of the dandelions poking out through the cracks in stone walls. I would like to express my appreciation for the letter you sent me. It was quite enlightening. I will follow in your footsteps and start by simply trying to enjoy life. As per your recommendation, I purchased sauce-flavored senbei for the first time the other day. It must have been quite a sight to see. A man dressed in a suit buying cheap rice crackers and eating them with children outside the candy store. The children laughed when they saw me, saying that real grown-ups don't buy cheap snacks. And so I explained to them that I wasn't able to eat many treats as a child, which is why I'm eating them now. When they heard that, they began swarming around me and telling me all the different delicious ways you can eat sauce-flavored sundae, though I must say, I was taken aback when a child suggested I try putting a strawberry jam on it. Imagine such a scene, a full-grown man eating snacks with children. While I was rather embarrassed, I felt like I had regained part of my lost childhood. I intend to become reacquainted with my inner child, discover my own dreams, and live life to the fullest. And once I have done so, I hope to reevaluate my feelings for you. She's finally having the talk with herself.
初めてかも。ここは私たちだけの静寂の恵比寿ヶ丘だね。
And that's the ending. Ebisugoka in silence. We need to talk about our future. That's great. So, I'm gonna do 2 things very quickly. Both of these can be on story because nothing. Oh, casual. Wait. For low stress combat experience with Hineko's abilities. Interesting. Because these endings also add bits to the end. Or at least getting them add certain things. Sakuko made me promise that if either of us was going to get a boyfriend, we'd have to do so at the same time, no exceptions. I honestly have no interest in that kind of thing, but I went ahead with it because she seemed so set on it. Sometime after that, rumors of Kotoyuki asking for my hand in marriage spread all over town, and I can't even begin to tell you how horrible this turned out. It reached Sakuko, and now every time she sees me, she calls me traitor this, traitor that. I really didn't want it to be this way. Large fox-like monster. Okay, it took a sec to add in. A large monster that is like the statue of an Ashra. It wields an array of terrible weapons with its multiple arms. Its body has been pieced together with heaps of junk and entwined with old tree branches and roots, giving it a sense of divinity often found in old objects. That's why it's the multiple masks, that's why it's cracked, that's why it's all these old weapons. It's carrying on that tradition. Okay. Okay. So there's that. Oh, it has like autosaves like at the top. Then the one for the cheer ending. Kotoyuki. He finally pulled off the mask. I cannot begin to fathom everything he has endured just to ask for my hand. Forced to turn away from all the simple pleasures every child should enjoy, and all for my sake. I can tell that his love for me is real. The desire to reciprocate his feeling dominates half of me. Even now, the two me's continue their petty war, each attempting to kill each other for control over my body. I cannot guarantee that I will become what you want me to be. Would you still be willing to wait for me, Kotayuki?
あるかそんなこと
A large fox monster possessing 9 tails. It is known all over East Asia, including China and Japan, and it is said to cause chaos by shape-shifting into human form. However, in Japan, it is worshipped as the god Inari-sama's messenger. Interesting. This one is mostly to sate my own curiosity. Because I don't even know like what would be added to the journal for getting the UFO ending.
あってたまるかそんなこと
Nothing. Yeah, that's just there for the funnies. Damn. In terms of big budget titles, this is my game of the year. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. I genuinely think this is a work of art. This is a genuine work of art. Both from the storytelling, the acting, the mechanics, every bit of the notes, like all killer, no filler, and the only filler is the funny UFO ending, which is clearly there just to be fun. This game is dense and I love it. I love every single part of this. Damn, no, that's great. That's great. I don't have anything else to say. Like, no, that is one of the best games I think I've honestly ever played. And it ends with an incredible boss fight too. An incredible boss fight that is not only cool in terms of spectacle, but is also incredible in terms of symbolism and how everything like wraps into each other. One of the best. One of the best. Yeah, no, that's that's kind of it. I don't really have I don't have much to add for that. Like, no, I spent let me look. My playtime is up to 41 hours. That has been 41 hours on stream. Ebisukogan, silence, we need to talk about our future. 9.2% of players have this achievement. Complete the game with action difficulty set to Lost and Fog. 5.7% of players have this achievement. And I think the only achievements I'm missing are ones related to notes. Memory collections and upgrades. Or maybe some other, like, hidden boss ones. Because that Godslayer one, defeating both the Tsukumogami and the Kyuubi within 10 minutes of the fight starting, that is also another one of those special achievements. No notes. No notes. This deserves game of the year. my personal pick of like, my personal pick is definitely still Unbeatable, but that's like there is a very, very, very heavy bias on my end. But this deserved to be Game of the Year. This is a genuine work of art. Ryukishio 7 might be one of the best to ever do it. This is phenomenal work. But yeah, no. Now my Fridays are now free. Again, so I'll think about something else to start streaming them. This was very impromptu. This is very impromptu because like I knew it wasn't gonna be, if I saved this for Friday, it wasn't gonna be 6 hours. And I finished basically on time as much as I expected. Because I've been going for 3 hours and 54 minutes at this point. So yeah, no, it would have been a little bit awkward for me to try to figure out how to extend it for a normal 5-day stream. So with that being the case, I am going to raid into Fiora. Because wow, no, I have no comments. No comments. This is easily probably my game. This is probably my game of the year. In terms of what I think, just out of sheer quality.
Come on.
An absolutely phenomenal game that was firing on all cylinders throughout the entire game. And actually uses the medium of being a video game in a very unique way, where all of the replays like actually built on top of each other. Thank you, Coffee. No, damn, this is everything that, no, game of the year. Thank you for stream. Thank you for coming, Alina. But yes, I have nothing really to add. Thank you for spending time with me. I usually do not do streams on Sunday, but yeah. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your morning, noon, or night, no matter when you're watching this. Unfortunately, the atelier is closed. You do not need to go home, but you can't stay here. But I can at least leave you in very cute hands. So yeah. Thank you for spending time with me, and make sure to cheer Fiora on or give her away for me. Take care.